Tonight, emergency flood warnings are downgraded on the mid-north coast as residents return home to start a massive clean-up. Hello, I'm Jeremy Fernandez. This is ABC News. A shopping centre in Melbourne goes into lockdown while police respond to a machete attack. David Littleproud defends his leadership as the Liberals and Nationals attempt to patch the coalition back together. And the Swans continue their dive down the ladder. We begin with some breaking news tonight. 2 people have been critically injured in a shooting in Parramatta. Sally-Ann Young is at the scene. Sally-Ann, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Jeremy. 2 males have been shot and they are being treated by ambulance. They have been taken to hospital here in Parramatta in Sydney's west. Police say they were 2 of 4 people in the car that was allegedly shot at on Church Street just after 5 o'clock this afternoon. The ambulance service described the 2 men that are injured as critical. They are being treated and have been taken to hospital. Police say the other 2 men in the car were uninjured. Police say a short time later they were called to Sherwood Street in Maryland's west, where a car was set alight and a tree was also set alight from that. They are seeing if those 2 incidents are linked, and the crime scene has been established here behind me and in Maryland's west as they investigate further.
Sally-Ann Young reporting from Parramatta. As floodwaters recede, the scale of destruction on the New South Wales mid-north coast is becoming clearer. A clean-up that'll take at least a few weeks has now begun, but more than 30,000 people are still isolated. All emergency warnings have now been downgraded, and the SES is focusing on essential supply drops. The damage is taking a toll on farmers who are coming to terms with just how much they've lost.
Tony Buttsworth wants to share his story, but it's hard to put into words.
Well, I don't know how to get out of this one.
This dairy farm at Moreland has been in his family for around 50 years, but it's been swamped by record flooding on the mid-north coast, leaving Tony and his brother Bobby with 1 paddock and 500 mouths to feed.
I have 2 sons. I don't know whether we can continue. It's going to take a lot of feed to feed them, because the paddocks aren't going to recover for a long time.
Emergency food has arrived in some parts of the region, but it will take much more help to get farmers back on their feet.
And I'm not talking about a number that you ring if you feel down in the dumps. I mean people knocking on doors to do welfare checks. That's what we need right now.
The RFS was knocking on doors in Kupanook today after the Pacific Highway reopened, allowing residents to return to their homes.
At the end of the day, it's only stuff, and the memories today is throwing that stuff out. So you get to relive it that one more time.
Whether it's Kupanook, Maxville or Port Macquarie, you'll find residents ripping apart their homes and places of business so they can start again. The state government says 70 strike teams are helping with the clean-up on the mid-north coast and are aiming to quickly remove the piles of waste.
We are truly grateful, we really are. It's not just for us, we're okay, but for the people that need it.
While attention is turning to the recovery, the rescues haven't ended yet. In Kempsey CBD today, a driver was pulled from a waterlogged vehicle. Nearby on Friday, water rescue experts paddled for 2 hours to retrieve 2 people stranded on their farm, creating a makeshift raft for their working dogs, whom they couldn't bear to leave behind. A reminder of how important animals can be to those in this region.
Well, I'd hate to say this, but I spend more time with cows than I do with my wife.
Many of the families affected here are made up of more than just people. Fiona Willan, ABC News, Kupanook.
And Fiona joins us live tonight from Taree. Fee, how can people affected by the floods find out more about the support that's available?
Well, Jeremy, many of the people we've spoken to in this region are really confused about what help is available and how they can access it. But the state government is promising it will soon be easier for people to get the information they need. In the days ahead, it's planning to open up 4 information hubs across the region. So the first will open on Tuesday here in Taree, and then on Wednesday others will follow in Maxville, Port Macquarie and Kempsey. And these will essentially be one-stop shops where people can go for legal advice, to find out about insurance, as well as get more details on any government assistance that may be available to them. There will also be mental health support provided because many in these parts are doing it really tough right now. Jeremy?
Fiona Willen reporting from Taree. 2 rival gangs armed with knives have sent shoppers in Melbourne scrambling and plunged a shopping centre into lockdown. In scenes echoing the Bondi stabbing rampage, terrified crowds headed for the exits or took shelter inside shops as police descended. 2 people have been arrested. One of them is a 15-year-old boy.
Terrified Sunday afternoon shoppers run for their lives amid chaotic, confronting scenes. Running seconds behind them are Victoria police officers.
Everybody was running and they just told us to get out.
And I see everyone start running. I'm like, nah, I've got to get out. This is too crazy.
Just after 2:30 p.m, the alarm was raised. Rival gangs were fighting in the food court of the Northland shopping centre. At least one was armed with a machete and others with knives.
There was a group of kids that were being chased by a young bloke wielding a knife in a jumpsuit. And then he lashed out at this kid with a machete and he split the kid's head open. We rushed that kid across to the Gelatissimo with the 2 girls in there, 2 young girls. They looked after him very well.
The centre was quickly locked down, with shoppers urged to hide in stores.
They locked the shop and we had to go at the back and under the counter.
2 people have been arrested. This person was pinned down near the food court. Another was led out of the shopping centre.
I've been advised that this was a planned meet-up. It would have been absolutely frightening to witness what they saw today on a Sunday afternoon. Parents with their children, absolutely frightening, and they should not have been exposed to what we saw here today.
One man in his 20s was taken to hospital with upper body injuries. He's in a serious but stable condition.
I think that the response was swift, and I think when the police did attend and arrested one straight away, they took control of the situation, they shut it all down and they quickly moved people to safety.
As the all clear was given, shoppers spilled out of the centre to safety. Many left in shock.
Pretty shocked. Really, it's not right. It's not fair. They should do something with these knives. They're not good. Not good at all.
I didn't know what to think at the start. It's happening so quick. People don't know whether to laugh at the absurdity or to really cry at how traumatising and how crazy the situation is.
Police are still searching for the other people involved in the attack. Shannon Schubert, ABC News, Melbourne.
The Nationals' David Littleproud says he doesn't care if he loses the leadership over his party's short-lived split with the Liberals, insisting that most of his colleagues had supported the move. Mr Littleproud will continue negotiating with the Liberal leader Susan Lee this week as the parties attempt to reunite and sign a new coalition agreement.
A brief but damaging coalition break, leaving David Littleproud to fend off questions about his future.
I'm pretty relaxed. You see, since I've been leader, I've been prepared to take the tough decisions. First one to make the decision on the voice, on divestiture, on nuclear.
Walking away from the coalition last Tuesday, only to come back to the negotiating table by the end of the week. The party's deputy maintains his leader had the support to push the 4 policy demands.
He got the permission of the room to say, if we don't get these, we won't be able to sign up.
The Liberal Party has since given an in-principle agreement to the key policies, but it appears the damage has been done. Former leader Barnaby Joyce privately indicated to colleagues he would back a former foe, Michael McCormack, if he sought the top job.
This is a hypothetical that is not on the cards.
Mr Littleproud conscious this sensational split could have personal consequences too.
The men and women of my party have stood up because those policies are going to change the lives of the people we represent. And I'd rather go to that place standing for something. And if I have to lose my job for it, I don't care.
After a bruising few weeks for the opposition, David Littleproud and Liberal leader Susan Lee will continue talks for a new coalition agreement over the coming days. While the Liberals have agreed to principles on policies like nuclear power and supermarket divestiture laws, they want to ensure there's some flexibility on issues they know are politically contentious.
In the extraordinary situation where all other competition policy options have been exhausted, that divestiture could be a last resort. I think that all Liberals agree with the idea of technology-agnostic energy generation.
The search for coalition consensus coming at a cost. Pablo Vinales, ABC News, Canberra.
Fresh from its thumping election win, the federal government's proposed tax on Australians with millions in super is shaping as its first big parliamentary test. As the ABC's Alan Kohler explains, it could be the first of many such proposals looking towards an AI-dominated future with less money being collected from income tax.
The Labor government's plan to increase the tax on superannuation balances above $3 million is Australia's first wealth tax. Actually, it's a reduction in the tax discount, but it'll work like a new tax, including unrealised gains. Unsurprisingly, the possessors of that much super are not happy. But because the $3 million cap is not indexed, that group will eventually include people on average wages as well. So it's not just a wealth tax, it also brings bracket creep to super. And it may not be the last tax on wealth either. Income tax is back above 50% of revenue and growing, and it's the same around the world. But while the taxes on human labour are increasing, the spending on artificial intelligence designed to replace human labour is going through the roof, and so are the profits. And why are the companies going for AI? Well, largely to replace staff. Meanwhile, global spending on defence is rising and is set to increase sharply from here, and so is spending on social welfare. In Australia, we've added the NDIS, which is up the ante a bit more. So good luck cutting spending to match the coming decline in personal income tax revenue as artificial intelligence starts replacing tax-paying human workers. Governments will either have to tax the profits from robots and AI or tax wealth. And the tax on high super balances is just a toe in that water.
There's been another rare moment of cooperation between Russia and Ukraine, with hundreds more prisoners released as part of a major exchange. But the latest swap happened against the backdrop of another deadly attack on Ukraine's capital. At least 7 people were killed in a large-scale drone attack.
Kyiv under attack. One of the biggest wave of strikes in the capital in 3 years. Homes and residential areas like this one in the firing line. With dozens of residents injured and some killed.
It was scary. The glass all flew out of the balcony. I wanted to run out, but there was smoke in the hallways, so I waited to be rescued.
The Ukrainian president believes civilians are being deliberately targeted.
Unfortunately, people were injured. Residential buildings and a shopping mall were damaged. Russia fills each day with horror and murder.
These pensioners were home when a drone hit and feel lucky to be alive.
I'd like Trump to see this. I want all the countries to see what Putin does. It's not war, it's the destruction of a people.
But as some citizens took refuge in the capital, there was a celebration of freedom elsewhere. For the second straight day, an exchange of prisoners from the warring sides sparked more tearful reunions. US President Donald Trump had suggested the swap of 1,000 prisoners from both sides could be a prelude to progress on peace talks. But the near-daily exchange of fire suggests peace could still be a long way off. Elias Kluwer, ABC News.
A married Palestinian couple, both working as doctors in Gaza, have lost 9 of their 10 children in a single Israeli attack. The IDF claims the strikes were targeting suspects who were operating near their forces in the southern city of Khan Yunis. A warning, this report contains some confronting details about the attack.
9 young lives cut short in an instant of smoke and fire in Gaza's Khan Yunis. 9 children killed, all from the An-Najjar family. Their ages ranging from just 7 months to 12 years old.
As we were trying to put out the fire, we were shocked to find a charred body. They continued extinguishing the fire, and we pulled out more charred bodies.
Their father, Hamdi An-Najjar, is fighting for his life at Khan Yunis Hospital, where he's a physician, but he was at home at the time of the attack. His wife, Ala An-Najjar, was on duty as a doctor on the wards and recognised her dead children as they were brought in.
The children arrived at the hospital where their mother was working. The children were badly burned. It's an unimaginable scene.
The couple's last surviving child, an 11-year-old boy, is in a critical condition.
We searched through the rubble, calling for the children. "Answer us, Uncle. Is anyone there?" we said. Not a single person answered us.
The IDF says it was targeting suspects in a building near its forces in Khan Yunis, and that reports civilians were killed are under review. It's a Palestinian toll which is growing. Gazan health authorities say more than 16,000 children have been killed in this 19-month war.
These are outrageous crimes against humanity, against all of us.
It's not just the deadly attacks that Gazans are grappling with, but also crippling hunger. 83 aid trucks entered Gaza on Friday. The UN says 500 to 600 are needed every day to stave off starvation for the territory's 2.1 million people.
My daughter hasn't eaten. Our children are slowly dying.
In Gaza, fear of the skies above and the streets around momentarily forgotten in the scramble for a meal and the need to survive one more day. Eric Twarchek, ABC News.
The Premier had described it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to build thousands of new homes in Western Sydney. But the proposal to sell Rosehill Gardens racecourse to the state government has divided the racing community. The fate of the course now lies in the hands of Australian Turf Club members who will vote on the sale on Tuesday.
A day out at the races in Sydney might be set to change. The Australian Turf Club proposal to sell Rosehill Racecourse to the state government is on the home straight. It would transform the track into 25,000 new homes in Sydney's west for an asking price of $5 billion. But the deal has drawn fierce opposition.
This is the most unfair, most biased, most disgraceful piece of trying to flog off a piece of real estate that they don't own.
Racing New South Wales previously used legal powers to postpone the initial sale vote. Since then, the Turf Club has beefed up the proposal, now promising an $800 million Group 1 upgrade to Warwick Farm.
20 hectares bigger than Rosehill, and it allows us to do things you could only dream of at Rosehill.
Existing members will get 5 years free membership and up to a $5,000 bar tab if the sale goes through.
Essentially, it's a bribe, as far as I can see. $57 million all up is what they're proposing to throw at members to vote yes for this.
The government's now facing criticism over how public sale funds could be used to shout members.
$8,000 for the high-income earners of the ATC, I think it absolutely shatters your credibility.
The club insists the loyalty program is perfectly legitimate.
And it's to drive racecourse attendance especially, but also membership rates. We've lost 20% of our members over the last 5 years.
At Randwick this weekend, members weighed up their options.
I think they should keep the Rosehill. I think it's a good track.
I think it's a good idea to sell and upgrade the other tracks.
And because we still have 4 race courses in Sydney, I think we can probably cope.
Turf Club members will gather here at Randwick on Tuesday to vote on the future of Rosehill Racecourse. While the state government have backed the deal, it will be ultimately up to the members to decide if the sale gets up or falls at the final furlong.
Brianna Parkins, ABC News, Sydney.
For parents with deaf children, there's often a choice to make. Do they learn Auslan, the spoken word, or a mix of both? While a bilingual approach means double the work, families raising their kids in both the hearing and deaf worlds say they're also getting double the joy. Their special report is from Naz Campanella and Evan Young.
Hey, Chicky, are you hungry?
This might look like any family snack time, but watch closer.
Raspberry. Lots and lots of fruit.
1-year-old Charlie Walls was born with profound hearing loss. Now her whole family is learning Auslan.
Biscuit, please. Nana. Good job, Els. Well done.
Charlie also wears cochlear implants to stay connected to the hearing world.
We wanted her to be bilingual and have spoken language as well as sign language. Being born deaf, I really felt like it was almost like her birthright to have sign language as part of her life.
It's a big undertaking, but one that was important for Mum Kate.
If we're expecting Charlie to kind of meet us in the hearing world by having to do all of the learning of spoken language and English, I think it's also important that we meet her halfway.
Orange, yeah. Part of the family's Auslan journey involves Coming Here, an early intervention playgroup run by not-for-profit Next Sense.
That ripe red strawberry.
Behind the play is a focus on building the children's cognitive, social and motor skills.
Creating that sense of belonging and also identity, connecting with their peers, seeing others that use Auslan, seeing others that have cochlear implants or hearing aids. For the parents, it's about education.
Katie Huntsdale has taught deaf children for 25 years, including 23 at Next Sense.
The kids, I watch them grow from being young babies and also supporting the parents very early on in their journey and watching them grow and achieve language goals. It just brings me so much joy.
Experts say early intervention programs like these play a critical role for children with hearing loss in mastering language, whether it's spoken, sign or both.
Children need to be immersed in language-rich environments with people who know and use the languages that they're learning.
For Charlie, the playgroup is about much more.
Charlie is able to be around other deaf kids and deaf adults, and she loves watching the deaf adults signing. It's so beautiful to watch, and it just shows that there is this connection between deaf people that hearing people just don't understand.
That connection is known as deaf culture. It refers to the strong bonds and comfort that deaf people feel with peers who have shared experiences. All the more important for navigating a world built for those who can hear.
Deaf culture is a huge part of our identity, and our identity, it is language, it's our communication, our visual connection, it's part of the wider community, it's us feeling safe and comfortable and at home with our community.
Brent Phillips is a proud third-generation deaf person. He says deafness is far more than just hearing impairment.
We do strongly identify as being culturally and linguistically diverse as a group. Just like our Italian communities, Chinese communities, Greek communities have their space, their values, their norms, behaviours, cultures, celebrations, so do we with Auslan.
Brent opted to raise his kids bilingual and says there's no one right way to raise a deaf child.
As long as you have all the information that you need and you think about what's best for your child.
We have found it a lot of hard work to learn Auslan, but we've also found it really rewarding. We're kind of getting double the amount of joy because we're putting in double the amount of work.
Train and metro passengers will get a fare-free day tomorrow following Tuesday's network meltdown. Gates will be open and card readers turned off at all stations, allowing commuters unlimited free trips. The fare-free day comes as compensation for the train chaos caused by an overhead power failure at Homebush. The Transport Minister, John Graham, acknowledges the fare-free day doesn't make up for last week's inconvenience. The Canberra Raiders have put in a steely performance to defeat New Zealand's Warriors. Discipline was crucial and the Raiders were rewarded with second spot on the NRL ladder.
It was a mouth-watering top four matchup for a packed crowd in Auckland. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck scored first with this improvised effort.
Roger gets it down.
It was tight and there were more penalty goals than tries. Despite losing Corey Horsburgh to the sin bin, the Green Machine rolled on and tied up the match.
Back on the inside, Starling dives in.
Chance Nickel-Klukstar was sent off for 10 and the Raiders took the lead.
Fogarty runs away to score.
Canberra got there 16 points to 10 and ended the Wars' 5-game winning streak.
They come across the ditch and they'll take 2 points home with them.
And last night, the Roosters had a classy 26-point win over the Sharks in Gosford.
What a put down! What a try from the veteran!
They're back to earth with a thud, that's for sure.
Hugo Savala starred with a 4-pointer and 3 assists.
It's a Roosters try!
Along with Xavier Va'a. 100 family members celebrated his first try with just his second touch in the NRL.
The kid's done it on debut! The Vars go berserk!
With 12 rounds done and dusted, it seems Lockie Galvin is finally leaving the West's Tigers.
There's a lot going on in the media and the reports, but you know, for us, yeah, we're going to have to wait to go in tomorrow and see what's happening. So yeah, we'll find out tomorrow.
The 19-year-old has reportedly agreed to join the Bulldogs, with Parramatta missing out on his signature. Bindi Bryce, ABC News.
The Swans have suffered another defeat, losing to the Demons this afternoon at the MCG. The Demons beat Sydney by 53 points.
Christian Petrarca's 200th game came at a critical point in the Demons season and they wasted no time getting on the board.
That's almost a walk-in.
The 2021 Norm Smith medalist got in on the action too.
This would get the Melbourne crowd up on their feet.
The Swans snatched back some momentum as the game hung in the balance, but the Demons pounced on every error, a run of goals pushing the lead out to 34 points.
And the renaissance feels real now for Melbourne.
The Swans skipper then gave away a shot inside 50 as Pickett's fifth sailed through.
And the snap was good.
The final term saw the Swans spark up once again.
The captain is back.
But it was too little, too late. Petrarca's signature burst through the middle, inspiring his teammates to pick up their pace.
Shares it with Sharp.
As the Demons' tsunami of fourth-quarter goals was too much to hold back.
And the Demons are going to love that. That is how you play football.
Erin Marsikovetere, ABC News.
Let's take a look at the weather now. Partly cloudy skies for Sydney today. Temperatures peaked about 19 to 20 degrees after overnight lows, mostly in the single digits away from the coast. It's been dry throughout the state except for a very few light showers about the mid-north coast. Daytime temperatures have been mostly in the high teens and low 20s, slightly warmer in the upper west. We've got a band of cloud across the northern two-thirds of the state, but it's not rain-bearing. However, a low-pressure system sitting over the Bight will combine with a cold front in the next couple of days, bringing a few showers in the central and eastern districts. Tomorrow's outlook for the capital cities: showers are forecast for Adelaide and Canberra, extending to Melbourne later tomorrow. And for Hobart and Brisbane, it'll be partly cloudy. It'll be partly cloudy in the far northeast of New South Wales, but in the surrounding districts you can expect a partly cloudy day with showers building up to some afternoon and evening falls. It's a similar outlook for the state's southeast with gusty showers. A severe weather warning has been issued, and with that you may see a few thunderstorms. You may also see some late snow above 1,600 metres. You may also get a shower or two inland with gusty winds and possible raised dust about the lower west. You'll also see the southwesterly hit the coast with winds freshening during the day. In Sydney, it'll be a cloudy day with a high chance of showers, most likely after lunchtime. Falls are most likely in the range of 2 to 9 millimetres. Overnight lows between 6 and 12, tops between 19 and 21. The sun will rise at 6:47 a.m. and the winds look set to ease on Tuesday, leading to mostly sunny to partly cloudy conditions for the rest of the week, with only a slight chance of showers. And that's the very latest from the ABC News team. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening.
The stars are undercover, watching pianists from all walks of life.
That is a vibe.